Is there a way I can make this full screen?
You mean us?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Like this screen on my screen, full screen.
I'm not sure because I have a total different interface than you.
Oh yeah, you have one of those cheapo computers.
No, I mean like I have the admin controls.
I'm just kidding. Did you see what I bought today?
What'd you buy? Wow, a new phone.
Yeah, the Pro Max.
Wow.
No, Kylo.
Spoiler alert for Rise of Skywalker.
I know. I'm so glad I didn't sell this figure, but now I'm pissed off I don't have a head sculpt.
There's one on eBay for $80.
But it has a neck or no?
No, it's the one from this figure. You just have to rip the neck off that body.
Why would I rip the neck off this body?
Because it's to
Isn't
fit
it
the
one
head
solid
sculpt.
piece?
I thought it was rubber, like the Vader one was.
Yeah, but the neck is in it.
Correct. But what I'm saying is the Vader head sculpt, the like the Vader body, it was like a soft rubber, but you can cut into it with a razor blade, and then you can pull it out, and then you have like a hole for the neck.
Oh, I don't know.
It's just like a rubber sleeve that goes over it.
Oh, maybe I'll do that then.
Well, let's do our count me in, Dean.
Or hurry the fuck up then. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Dean, I learned something today on the internet.
Did you?
Apparently, you need a license to watch BBC in the United Kingdom.
That's Big Brother for you.
And I watch BBC in the United States all the time for free. What does that tell you about the world?
I'm sure there's some kind of, I don't know. I was going to say, I'm sure someone's paying for that somewhere down the line.
And that someone is Ian.
Thanks, Ian.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
Welcome to this week's... Wow. I was confused on how I was going to start that. Let's do that one more time.
Okay.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's the weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right.
It's our first episode in 2020.
Hell yeah.
In this new decade, we ended the last decade on a bang.
On a high, yeah.
On a big bang. With the Collecting Weekly Awards, we had a great Christmas special. Seth put together a really nice best of awards, or best of clip compilation. And it gave us like 2 weeks off.
Uh-huh.
And as you can tell, I butchered the intro because I was freaking out. But we're back. We are here. We have a great show planned for you guys tonight. Episode 85, World War B. And this episode would not have been possible without our friends over at Watto's Scrapyard.
Dude, shout out Watto's.
Sean is a wonderful guy. Super great, doing a ton of really neat things in Collecting Weekly Auxiliary. He's working on custom head sculpts for 1/6, 1/12, 3 3/4 scale figures. Some of the ones he's done recently, Kylo Ren, Unmasked Mandalorian, Sabine Wren, Darth Talon, pretty much all the sculpts that anyone could want. And he's doing a very special promotion in Collecting Weekly Auxiliary, and we'll talk about that in Custom Corner because I don't want to spoil all the goods too early. Dean, before we get started with the news, we have a very special segment that all of the best shows start with. Would you like to kick us off?
Yeah, you ready?
Yes.
It's
new this week.
It's so hard doing that over stream.
Though we did kind of nail it.
Yeah, I mean, we're perfect. So yeah, what did you get new this week? It's been a couple weeks, so I got a ton of stuff. I got she's up there, but the Kill la Kill Figma, the last one for Kill la Kill, Mako, man, I can't say her last name, it's crazy. And then I bought the tunic and the cape for Kylo Ren 6 scale because I had episode 7, but he looks so cool with the cape and the shorter tunic.
Yep.
That I just kit bashed the Force Awakens version into the Last
The
Jedi
opening scene, Last Jedi.
yeah. And then this guy came in the mail. This is the metal. It's not metal build. It's metal composite RX 782. This thing
Nice.
is incredible. They're coming out with another version. It's literally the exact same, just a reissue. This is the first one. I got them pretty cheap. It's amazing. I can't wait for you to get your hands on this because it's crazy good. And then today I went and picked up. I went and picked up Power Down Broly from Steven's Collectibles. Shout out Steven.
Yeah, shout out to Steven. He was just at my house about an hour ago dropping off one of my new this week's. And,
yeah, that's good to you.
Definitely a big shout out to Steven. So I had a pretty busy, it's been about 3 weeks since we've last been here. Real quick in the chat, we have Dan Lee says, "What's up, everybody?" We have Caesar M says, "Hello." Greg is in the chat. Mervin's in the chat. But it's been a busy few weeks for me. So for Christmas, I was a good boy this year, and I got myself an Ironmonger from my parents from Victoria, and from my work. They gave me a nice little bonus. So the 6-scale Ironmonger is finally in my collection. It's a really nice piece. And after watching Rise of Skywalker, we're going to get into Rise of Skywalker a lot later. Spoilers in this episode. But after watching Rise of Skywalker, I was like, I've been sleeping on these sequel trilogy characters on Hot Toys. And I had moved 3 pieces of my collection this past week. So I moved the Godzilla X Plus, the Russell Crowe Gladiator, and then
that was fast.
Yeah, and then the Chogokin Gypsy Danger. Right. I still have the NECA Gypsy, and I think that one's my favorite, honestly.
Yeah.
And I was able to move those 3 figures, and I traded Rainer, the Gypsy, for the Riot Trooper Finn 2-pack.
Nice.
That was probably one of my favorite moments of TFA. And then I was able to sell the Gladiator and the Godzilla to pick up the Rey and Kylo TLJ figures. Now, I learned something on Monday, and that is that ThinkGeek, which is owned by GameStop, sells Hot Toys.
Right.
Not only do they sell Hot Toys, they sell Hot Toys at retail, which is kind of surprising because GameStop
never puts anything at retail.
Exactly. They do even on a Black Series, you're talking like $5 or $6 upcharge.
It's like 3 or 4, but sure.
Depending on the character. When I went to buy the Second Sister Black Series, no, I'm being serious. I asked how much the Black Series were, and the Jawas were $20, and Kylo and the Second Sister and the dude from that game were $25. They were $24.99.
You're a liar.
All right. Well, so I had put up a want to buy on Ox, and I was hoping to get a deal because Sideshow had canceled their $20 off Rey promotion, and I was not about to pay tax, which we'll talk about here in a second, plus the retail for Rey.
Right.
And Manny and Greg, Sweet Angels, they told me that ThinkGeek had one. Called my boys up, and sure enough, they did. And the price was retail, and I was really happy about that. But I was a little concerned because it was a display model, so it had been on the shelf for a while. I asked him how long it had been on the shelf. He said it was about 2-3 weeks. And I asked him if they were doing any promotions on, those figures at the time. And he said they weren't, but because it was a display model, I can get 15% off.
Nice.
So that ended up being $35 off, which is a pretty sizable discount. It was actually cheaper than Sideshow with the tax and the there was free shipping, but it was actually cheaper because I was taxed at that lower rate. So could not complain about that. So I picked up the Rey, picked up the Kylo, TLJ from Steven, and I also got some really nice gifts from my co-hosts. Rainer got me the Ralph McQuarrie Vader Arrival print, and it's framed, it's signed, it's numbered. It's a beautiful piece. And then Seth got me MPM7 Bumblebee from the, I believe it's a Bumblebee from the newest Transformers movie. And it's pretty cool. But I...
Not Bumblebee, Transformers? Or Bumblebee?
Wait, what?
You said it's a Bumblebee from the newest Transformers movie. Do you mean the Bumblebee?
Yeah. Not the seventh.
franchise.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like I think it's the Bumblebee from the Solo movie.
Okay.
I was like, wait, what? All the Bumblebees are Transformers. And then I picked up from Q and Bao, which is a company that makes the oversized Bumblebee, this little G1 accurate cartoon Bumblebee, and it transforms and it's amazing.
Mhm.
It's probably my favorite of all bees at the moment. It's adorable, fits in your pocket.
I tried
Transformation is I'll do it right now. It's super. Look at that, just unfolds like that. Super easy. And Dean, there was a little bit of bee drama, and we're going to talk about that on Grinds My Gears. So we had a great show planned for you guys tonight. We got
Hell
lots
yeah,
of
we
things to
do.
talk about.
Dude, I got so much cheese, man. It's not even funny.
So much cheese man. Ooh, you have cheese man or I have cheese man?
Dude, just in general, just we're overflowing with cheese, man. We should
Actually,
rename the show Bean and Cheese, man.
we I don't know that we can talk about the cheese man that we have right now, but we
No.
got some spicy.
We got some retribution.
Oh, uh, you have to
We
hear
literally
that.
can't talk about
Yeah, we literally can't. But let's just say revenge is a dish best served cold.
it. Oh yeah.
And while I'm doing this, I transformed the guy, and he's amazing.
Hey, that was fast.
Anyway, so Dean, Sideshow, back in November, actually back in October, we sent them a message asking about tax because
Right.
at that point, I think it was October 1st or November 1st, all retailers shipping product into Texas were legally required to charge sales tax.
Right.
And I thought it was interesting because Sideshow hadn't made an email or had not started charging tax.
Right. Like not even like a hey, heads up.
Yeah,
This
so we
might not
sent
happen.
them we went deep undercover and sent them an email, and they pretty much said that they had no plans to charge tax and they weren't sure when/if it was going to change.
Right.
Monday, I went to see how much Ray cost. This was before I knew that ThinkGeek had one, and I noticed that there was tax on the order.
Uh,
And I thought, let me holler at the boys. And sure enough, their processor did receive an update, and tax is being charged on states that require sales tax. And this is a big deal. Now, TC, the wonderful angel from Six Scale Scavengers podcast, dug a little deeper on this. And this does not take effect retroactively. So if you have an order that's already been made before, I think it was January 3rd, you're good to go, unless you change your address. Any order placed after that date is subject to sales tax. Now, Sideshow is the official distributor of Hot Toys in the United States, though there are many sites you can buy Hot Toys from, including Hong Kong sellers. So let's look at Big Bad Toy Store. And in this example, we're using MMS 507 Crate Luke. $235 for the figure, $4 for FedEx flat rate shipping, and $19 of tax. Comes out to $258.11. Sideshow, the official distributor, comes in at $235 retail, $21.31 tax, and $23.35 shipping.
God damn.
Interesting to note the tax is slightly different, and the total comes out to $279.66, which is a difference of $21.
Right.
Now, common sense dictates that with Sideshow you get your $11.75 back in rewards points, which is 5%. And are you all right? Getting that 5% back is $11.75, but subtracting $11.75 from $279.66 puts you at $10 more than Big Bad Toy Store to buy it from Sideshow.
Yeah.
If you want a double box, I think Kevin is rubbing all up on your mic. It's getting real loud.
Yes.
If you want a double box that, you're looking at an additional $10 shipping. So $33 shipped, which puts your difference at $31. Now, the big thing that's being said is, well, you get rewards points, you get money back. Those take into effect 30 days later. Right. And to use those rewards points, you have to buy something expensive. And when you buy that something that's expensive, you're subjecting yourself again to the $20 price difference. Big Bad Toy Store shipping is fantastic. It's double box. Your items are well protected. FedEx is a really good shipping carrier. They have an expedited shipping for $9.74. It's a little bit more expensive, but you're still under Sideshow's. So it really brings into question, how good is Sideshow now? I think if / when Big Bad Toy Store, starts a rewards program, Sideshow is really not going to be that attractive a place to buy something from.
Right.
Now,
Well, even with the 1175 back, let's just say you got 1175 back, you're still short $10 from BBTS.
exactly.
So it's like you're not really getting the 1175 until you spend more money later. So I'd rather
Have the money now and not have to
have the
invest
money
more.
now. Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, one thing that's interesting is, maybe not interesting, but one thing that I would suggest is, Sideshow has been very generous with their Geeksgiving and their Spooktacular. And I think the best time to buy from Sideshow, and frankly, the only time to buy from Sideshow, is the holiday season after Geeksgiving.
Mhm.
You're going to have, $100 of rewards points, maybe more. And you're going to be able to apply that to an item and get it for, almost nothing. Like I had in the case of Kylo, or rather the Blitzwing. And I think any other time during the year, Big Bad Toy Store wins out, just a clear winner. Big Bad Toy Store, there's oftentimes not an NRD, which is what Sideshow has, which you lose if you cancel. Big Bad Toy Store also doesn't require monthly payments to hold your item. And I think those two things combined are really, really, really good thing. Now, Jason says eBay sellers are charging tax now too.
Yeah.
Jason, that's actually not eBay sellers. That's eBay itself. Kensington is in the chat, and Caesar M says, I found out today with the deluxe Palpatine with $25 off plus free shipping. The $25 coupon helped with the taxes. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. You're still paying it, but you're getting the coupon. Now, of course, with every figure, it's case by case. I think with Jedi Training Rey, she was free shipping at Sideshow, and she was, I think, a little bit cheaper than Big Bad Toy Store. But you just have to weigh your options as you go forward, now that tax is the thing. There's a lot of people saying that this is something petty to bring up because it's tax and, this and that. But Dean, this country was founded on arguing about tax. So I don't think it's really that crazy that we're talking about this here.
It's not the same thing, but sure.
Well, is it though? But anyways, let's get into new pre-orders. So the big one that was actually really surprising was the America's Ass Captain America from Avengers Endgame. $259 buys you this figure, releasing April to June 2020. I think this figure looks really good, but that ass needs to be like 40 times bigger because that's some pancakeage going on there.
To take the lower body from Black Widow, put it on.
No, Dean, you're all wrong. They need to take the BVS Batman body,
with that
junk in the trunk.
Yeah,
with that thing in the back. that figure was dragging a wagon. They need to put that on this 2012 version of Captain America.
Yeah.
We have Mario Cortez in the chat, and someone from Facebook is saying popculturezone.com. Facebook user, let us know your name so we can give you a shout out.
Here's the one in Australia, isn't it?
It's a good site.
Yeah, I know a few people have gotten like pretty good deals on there. Nothing like crazy, but
yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of waiting for shit from Australia because it takes forever.
Yeah. So that's Lenny that says pop culture is cheaper, and then he also says Time Walker is also a really good place. So yeah, there's plenty of places to get your figure
depending on how cheap it is. I'll wait, but sometimes it's like, dude, if I'm only gonna save $10, I'll just get it at Sideshow and get it like a week earlier, or from Australia probably like 2 or 3 weeks earlier.
Yeah, that's true, because Big Bad Toy Store does get the figures like really late after the release. I think like in some cases it's like a month or two after Sideshow gets it, so you do have to wait a little bit for that savings. But if it's an in-stock figure, it's not too bad. Hot Toys showed the unmasked Spider-Man head from the upgraded suit. I think it looks really good. Apparently this was a bit of a controversy while we were on vacation. But this looks like a really great head sculpt. I honestly don't know why people are complaining about it. I think the biggest complaint that I have about this figure at the moment that I hadn't noticed before is the gloves look like they have no texture on the back of the hand. and the suit is super textured. And in this picture in particular, you can really see it stands out. So you know, I don't know. It looks like a good head sculpt, but apparently this was like a meme in the community for like a week while we were out. Jazz Inc. Dioramas showed off their first size prototype of the Millennium Falcon cockpit. This thing is huge. I know Yoast announced that there was going to be a deluxe version with lights and sound, and I think that's really cool. I think he said the price was to be announced. But this is fucking awesome. Like, super impressed by this. Of course, the top of the cockpit comes out so you can access the figures. But this thing is huge. I imagine his son is, you know, a pretty big dude, and this thing is just massive. So good on Jazz Inc. Dioramas. They're chugging along. Let's get into new releases, Dean. Thanos from Endgame, the armored Thanos, was released, and I think it looks pretty good. People were complaining that there's not. Why does he come with a gauntlet? Didn't he have a gauntlet in this scene? It wasn't with all the stones.
He never has a gauntlet at all.
Ooh,
with that armor, except for the power.
The nano gauntlet, right?
Or the nano gauntlet, yeah.
Yeah, that's what some people were disappointed when they opened the box and there wasn't a nano gauntlet inside. I think the paintwork looks really good, and I think a lot of people are hoping that we get a battle damaged version from this with the nano gauntlet. And I certainly think we will get it once all this version is sold out, just like they did with the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker. So,
yeah, it's just he literally never, because this is the Thanos from the past, so he doesn't have the gauntlet yet at all. So he shows up gauntless, literally
gauntletless.
Yeah, and so like, why the fuck does he have a gauntlet in this? Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, one thing is also he doesn't come with the flexed bicep arm.
Yeah,
from what I've seen, and you know, it just looks awful when you articulate it like that.
The muscle. They have a picture of him sitting down. The arms look so bad.
Yeah, not a fan. Justice League Superman was released, and
hey, about time.
Well, it's like 2 years late. Yeah. This figure is blue, like blue AF. And it's really striking because these films are very dull in terms of like the color grading,
right? And
to see that suit, I mean, the real costume is probably that blue, but on film it doesn't translate. In hand, this thing is like neon blue. It has the chrome underbody, and it comes with 2 head sculpts with the LED feature. Look at Justin's collections review, and the way they did the LED head is really interesting. It's like a whole like cartridge that comes out of the head with the lighting unit, and you put the batteries in. But unfortunately, there has been some reports of some really bad light bleeding. We have a picture here with you can see in the hair. Justin's didn't look this bad. Granted, he did have a lot of studio lighting on it, but
god damn, even like in the back of the head, you can see it.
Yeah. So not sure if this is a widespread issue, but I have seen a few reports of this. The Aquaman was released. Aquaman was released, and
nice.
This figure looks really good. I imagine the articulation is awful.
It looks way better than the other one.
Yeah. Clearly, I don't know if he's got a fish in the front of his pants or something, but man is rocking some schmeat. But yeah, that's all the comments were saying, you know, pointing that out. But it looks really good. I like the head sculpt. I imagine the hair is probably going to hinder a lot of the articulation, and I imagine this suit is just not articulated at all. But I gotta respect the look. This does look pretty good. What do you think about it, Dean?
It's better than the next figure.
Yep, Harvey Dent was released as well, and. Oh, that was a convincing gag. Now,
I'm gonna retch.
I will say, not everything that's wrong with this figure, I think, is Hot Toys' fault. Even in the movie, I thought the suit burn effect looked really weird in the film. But I think Hot Toys just like applied all the paint technique that they used on the flesh onto the suit, and I don't know. It just, I've seen a few reviews on this figure, and I know that there's people that probably really like this figure and this character, but Was not a huge fan of the final product.
Yeah, I saw someone complaining about this the other day,
Uh-huh.
and I forget what it boiled down to, but it was like, how could they make this? Like, no one wanted this. They should make this instead. And I was like, so you're pissed off because they didn't make your figure, but they've been knocking out the Dark Knight figures for a while.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just gonna round someone else's shelf out. Just because you don't collect it doesn't mean it's not a good idea.
Yeah, that was a while ago that you made that comment, but I specifically remember that because I think the guy wanted like it was something really stupid that he wanted.
It was like
No, it was a Star Wars. He wanted a Star Wars figure, and I'm like, dude, Rise of Skywalker comes out like in 4 months. Everything is going to be about that after that. You know, there's 10 Hot Toys Star Wars figures that we know are in the pipeline at some point.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like I was like, this figure's not even out yet, and you're already like pissed off at it for literally no reason other than your figure didn't get made.
Yeah,
I think it's a good idea. I don't collect this line. I don't really even like those movies.
yeah.
But for someone who collects the Batman and specifically the
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Christopher Nolan.
The Christopher Nolan Batmans. This is a really cool piece. It makes sense that they would make it. So
yeah,
I don't know what the big deal is. Again, it looks great.
Dark Knight, right? Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight.
This one is the Dark Knight.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree. People are really upset about that. We have Death Angel 210 in the chat.
Hey, there he is.
Who's that? Who's that?
My buddy Eric.
Hey, what up, Eric? Dean, I think you may have wanted to save the wretch for this figure. This was the Toys Era comedian, and I do think that the value is still there even with the way it looks. You're getting 3 head sculpts, you're getting a lot of accessories, you're getting a decent outfit. You're probably getting a really cheap generic body, and I think that's where a lot of the issue is. This body looks way too wide. It almost looks like a Kanye video where they were in the sweaters with the huge bodies. The head looks like maybe 10% too small, but again, I think that can be fixed by the body. PJ made a really interesting comment about
that, or the clothes are too big.
Yeah, it could be that. PJ made a good comment that, this is a 3-piece suit and it's going to be baggy no matter what. And that's an excellent point. And I don't know how you mitigate that. I guess you have to go with a really slim body like a Luke Skywalker without the fat suit and then put those layers on top of it because he was very gaunt in the movie. He's very, very frail. Yeah. But I just don't know because when you see pictures like this, which are in-hand photos, a lot of paint chipping on the hair. The 5 o'clock shadow doesn't look so good. The makeup, which is intentionally supposed to be messy, just looks. I don't know. This is by Reddit user entity_97.
Like it looks nothing like Joaquin Phoenix. Like it's ugly.
Yeah,
it's just not good. If anyone tries defending this, like I no longer value your opinion. Like objectively, that's not good. It doesn't matter what the lighting is. That's bad.
Yeah, because initially the concerns were there was too much lighting, and then the concerns was there was not enough lighting. And if you need a figure to be lit by like the lighting from God himself to look decent, I don't know, man. I went with the it was like the $90 set, the really cheap one, because I knew that if it's bad, I can pick up another body for $10-15. I can either have my wife fix the paint or pay someone to fix the paint, and I can still have a good figure and not be in on it too much.
Yeah.
But when you're coming in at the 180 price point, there is nothing that, I mean, you can obviously do those things as well, but you're going to end up with a figure that's the cost of a hot toy, you know?
And you had to do all the shit yourself.
So I don't know, man. I feel like
it's also kind of a shit argument to say like, oh, well, the price point is so good that it doesn't matter if it's shitty. It's like, well, no, because then they're just going to start churning out shit figures and they know you're just going to pay for it. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah,
if
and that's
repercussions to coming out with a bad figure, like canceling your pre-order, then they could just get away with it. They're gonna know, like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter if it's like that good or not.
yeah, and that's why I tend to try to call these things out when they happen, because that's why we rather tend to call these things out, because I think we're of the opinion that we have to be that voice in the community and call these companies out for this, because
Dude, it's
like you
just
said, if we don't and no one does, they just keep doing it.
yeah.
Um, this Dean,
Oof.
spectacular.
This
Blitzway
thing
Ecto
is
1,
insane. Look at the
ridiculous.
seats. It looks like an actual car seat.
This is ridiculous. This is like shrink ray all over this whole thing.
It's insane.
Dean, this is spectacular. Now this did take a while to come out. Some people complained about that. Some people complained the chrome on the bumper wasn't good enough. But when you look at this beautiful creation here, fucking pretty damn good.
It's pretty amazing.
I gotta say. Um, it looks so good. I'm just admiring it. So this is the
Is it
Ecto 1 from
true 6 scale?
Ghostbusters. What's that?
Is it true 6 scale?
Yeah, it's a 6 scale collectible. Now I'm not sure if the figures can fit with all the proton packs in the back. I'm not
Well, they
sure.
don't wear them in the movie. They put them in the bag.
No, I know that. I'm saying I'm not sure if you can put the proton packs in the back and put all the
Oh,
figures in there. I assume if you were daring enough, you probably could. I can't imagine anyone would do that.
right. Yeah.
But dude, this just looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Blitzway coming in strong.
Jeez.
Yep, this is Lenny says they can fit inside, so that's really cool.
Oh.
Now, Dean, I came into this episode fully hoping, or not fully hoping, but fully anticipating to roast Superman toys. This was before Christmas. They posted Merry Christmas due to a car accident and a knee broken. I've been unable to inspect the manufacturing process. The production of Hunter D is hurrying for release within the end of this year, with some pictures here, and then Hunter K finishing March 2020. I was a bit disappointed because this had been I've already paid off one of these figures, the other one frankly given up on, and my boy posted this yesterday. This is the Deckard Blade Runner 2046 Hunter D.
Dude, right now I was like, why the fuck do they call Hunter D?
Well, because it's a third party.
No. I was thinking of his first name.
Oh, Deckard, Rick Deckard.
Yeah, Deckard.
Yeah.
Oh.
2 head sculpts, the whiskey glass, the pistol.
That's an amazing head sculpt.
This is
Harrison
fucking
Ford is not
amazing.
easy to get.
No, not at all. I'm really excited about this. This was I think this figure retailed for like $130. So not bad. The Hunter K though is the one I'm really excited for. So I'm really hoping that they nail it, but I haven't gotten my invoice yet from TNS, so we'll see what happens.
Or is that just a shirt?
What's that?
Is he pudgy on purpose, or is that just a shirt?
Oh, I think in the movie he's a little pudgy. I could be mistaken, but I think it's just the shirt.
Toys pudgy, or
probably the shirt.
Okay.
I imagine if you water treat it a little bit, it'll look a little bit better.
What is the difference in the sculpts?
One's looking to the left and one's looking forward. It's a really weird difference.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, I will say.
Okay.
Dean, let's talk about us. Let's talk about collecting weekly.
Yeah.
We set some goals. Mario says this looks like a Han Solo recast from TFA. Could be. Very well could be. But Dean, let's talk 2020 goals for collecting weekly. Do you have any goals this year?
Yeah. Why don't we finally get the show going with 6 Scale Scavengers? A joint show.
6 months in the making.
It feels like a lot longer. Are you sure it's only 6 months?
Yeah, I'm excited to do the joint show. I think that'd be fun thing to do. And of course, you obviously mean that in the nicest way possible. They're a busy group of guys, but yeah, that'd be fun to get a joint show.
Like, I really want to get that done.
That'd be a fun show. My goals. So we have a certain number of members in Ox and a certain number of subscribers. I really want us to hit that 500 Ox members number. I think that's a very attainable thing by the end of the year, and I really want us to get to 1,000 subs on YouTube. I think that's a big possibility. And I also have
I don't even.
What's that?
Where are we at right now?
Subs are at like 250, so quarter way
Ooh,
there.
nice.
And then because we hit well over the 1,000 hours we need to monetize, we just haven't hit 1,000 subs. And then also, well, I guess it could change with all the YouTube drama, but I also would like us to aim for like 25,000 plays this year. Last year our goal was 10,000. This year my goal is 25,000.
What did we hit last year?
Well,
Seven.
maybe it was like 17,000. So maybe 25 is a little low, but I want to start with something achievable. But those are my goals. And I wanted to ask you, Dean, do you have any goals for your collection for 2020?
Oh man, to just get bigger.
Because you haven't talked about it, Dean,
What?
but you achieved a life goal in collecting.
Oh yeah.
And let me preface this with a big shout out to our sponsor, Watto Scrapyard. So Watto Scrapyard
Dude,
sponsored us for
hell
3 months, for
what?
January, February, March.
Yeah.
3 months of sponsorship. And their sponsorship helped Dean acquire a grail,
Yeah.
a lifelong grail. And I was almost disappointed that you didn't even mention it new this week.
Well, because technically, I mean, I can't show it to the screen right now in pieces.
Tell me about it.
Okay, so I had mentioned this on the show at some point. I want to say it was not this past Christmas, but the one before.
Yeah.
I said like one of my grails is the 3 3/4 inch Imperial shuttle,
Yes.
and I will own one by the end of the year.
Someone find that clip, by the way, and let me know the episode and the timestamp.
Yeah, it's. I know I said it on the show, so it's out there.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, like 2 months or like 2 months ago, maybe Watto, Sean, messaged me and he's like, "Hey, do you have the shuttle? Because I need one for parts. I need to 3D scan the parts so I could sell them because that's what he does mainly. Right now, he's doing his head sculpts and stuff, but mainly
Yeah.
sells replacement parts for old Kenner and
Hasbro vehicles.
vehicles." And I was like, dude, I don't own one of those. I've always wanted one, but they're so expensive. I can't feasibly
Yeah.
get one.
And Dean, for the listeners, can you tell us approximately how much those things go for?
The last one to sell on eBay in the complete condition was like $350 and then like $40 shipping.
About $400.
So $400, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few on there right now, also $400. Buy it now. So it's like, yeah, I'm never gonna own one. In box, they're even more expensive. So like unless I find one and then I'll come to you for parts. And he was like, well, I need one. I don't have the part. I was like, well, I can't help you. I was like, but if I find one, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So again, this is like December 29th.
Yeah, literally like the last day of the year almost.
Yeah, I went to Facebook Marketplace. I don't know what I was searching for, but I just typed in Star Wars and I scrolled like one thing down, and right there, an original 84 Imperial Shuttle complete, $150. So I was like, get out of town. So I messaged the guy. I was like, yo, is it still available? He's like, yeah. I was like, I'll pick it up. I think I was like at work, so I was like, I'll pick it up tomorrow. He's like, okay. So I messaged Sean. I was like, dude, I found one. I'm gonna buy it and I'll send it to you, or I'll send you the parts. And he was like, how much is it? And he's like, buy it and I'll cover you. And I was like, well, like it's for me. I'm not gonna buy it for you, but I'll help you out. And he was like, no. Like you buy it and I will pay you for it, and then you can keep it. I was like, are you kidding me? He's like, no, like I really need those parts. So we went, he went halvesies. So I ended up paying 85, or yeah, what's half of
75? Half of 150 is 75.
Okay, then it was more than that. What was it? I have the screenshot somewhere, but or I guess it's 170, right? 85 and 85. I forget.
Sure. I think we're getting stuck on the number here, bud.
Yeah. The point is that Sean covered half of it, and I was able to attain my grail, original 84 for next to nothing.
With 1 day to spare.
Yeah, with 1 day to spare. And then so I shipped him the parts. He should get them tomorrow. He's gonna 3D scan them and you'll be able to buy anybody will be able to buy the parts for the Imperial shuttle.
Yep, if for
That's
replacement.
the hardest things to get your hands on.
Yep.
So
And for Sean, it makes a lot of sense because he can make that money back.
he's gonna
easily.
make it back in 3 orders.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So it's like a huge quid pro quo. I got my grail. He's able to help other collectors out. He's gonna make money off of those.
And then we, he also paid for some sponsorships through that purchase as well. So
And
definitely a win-win-win.
I was selling it too. I was like, dude, this is going to a good home. I was like, he's like, yeah, it's important that it goes to someone who's going to appreciate it. I was like, well, dude, you're helping out like thousands of collectors right now. I was like, because we're gonna scan these parts and people will be able to buy them. He's like, wow, that's so cool. And I was like, I know. So it's right here on my desk, but it's in pieces. So
Yeah.
But it was
what a beautiful story.
Dude, it's so cool. Sean is an awesome guy. But if he doesn't send my parts back, I'll be sure to rip him a new one on the pod. Don't buy from Watto.
Dean, make sure you get signature confirmation.
Yeah, dude. I
get signature confirmation, UPS, hold it at the store, do like whatever you can to get those back safely.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'll just be able to buy them from Sean afterward.
Well, it's not the same.
I know.
So I feel like this year I really expanded my collection. I think next year I want to refocus and trim it down just a little bit. There's only so much space one has, and I'm nearing that limit. And I really want to refocus a little bit, with some of the things that I have. And so I think that's a real attainable goal for this year for collecting.
Nice.
So we'll see how that goes. We'll definitely see how that goes.
This is gonna be good.
What were you
just gonna say? You should really just like narrow it down to like
a core collection of things.
You always come back to Star Wars, so just stick with Star Wars because you go into these like
I know I really need to.
It's of like, oh, I need this, and you'll sell all your Star Wars stuff, and then like when that hype is already down, you're like, fuck, wait, I want my Star Wars stuff back. It's like just stick with Star Wars. That's usually a pretty like
safe bet.
Yeah, that you're always going to be in the Star Wars.
Well, let's talk about this, Dean. Let's get off of goals. I think I'm a little sappy there, but you wanted to have this discussion, and I'll let you talk about it because you're very passionate about this. So go ahead.
Yeah. So, I was just thinking the other day, and I was like, man, there's a lot of third party Dragon Ball, Power Rangers, a lot of third party Transformers. Pretty much whatever you could think of, there's probably a third party of it. But there is not third party Gundam, and it pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Gundams aren't really that expensive anyway. The kits, an expensive, like a really expensive kit is like $200. It's like, oh man, that's a $200 kit. Because they're usually like $30 to like $60 on an average kit, and then you get more expensive ones.
Yeah.
But then I bought this thing, and it's about as big as a master grade, pretty small. But it's metal. It's really heavy, and it was 170 shipped. Now, like I said, the new ones are coming out, and they're like 220. So it was used. And I was like, it'd be really cool if like somebody else made fucking Gundams that weren't, licensed, and they'd be even cheaper. And it just like blows my mind that that's like the only thing out there that doesn't have third party. There's third party fucking Marvel figures. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it just blows my mind that everybody in the world is collectively like, nah, we're not going to touch that. And it's not like a Bandai thing because Bandai makes Dragon Ball third part, demoniacal and all kinds of shit. So it's like, what gives? Like, what is it about Gundam? There's no third party.
I don't know. Because at first, when you brought this up, I thought, oh, it's the complexity, like the Bandai molds, not molds, but like the way Bandai makes their kits. They're doing like 2 to 3 colors on a sprue, which is extremely difficult to do.
No, it doesn't have to be a kit.
No, I understand, but the more I thought about it, it's not that. It can't be that. That's not impossible.
They have that
Maybe, and then I thought maybe it's because Transformers, like the G1, they're very simple designs, but now you have third party like the Zeta Toys Bumblebee, which is like a really complex design.
Right.
Then you have, the one that Jobby just reviewed, the Last Night Transformer, the Optimus.
Is that up? You need to watch that.
Yeah, it's a really good review. I don't know. I honestly don't know why.
So
is it? I mean, does Gundam have as big of a fan base as Transformers?
Dude, Gunpla is insane. I don't want to piss anyone off and say it has more, but I wouldn't be surprised if Gundam has more
fans.
Yeah, just because it's been around so long. I mean, so is Transformers, but like, I mean, the kits are so easy to, put together, and it's just insane. I mean, I don't know a single person that like has Gundam that has one Gundam. It's usually like a whole shelf or like 6 or 7 kits. Like no one just half-asses it. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And it's like you have the figures like the Gundam Universe, the little 6-inch, super easy. They're there's not really too much to them. $20, but it's like, why isn't someone else out there doing it? It just like blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like, look at your Bumblebee collection, and in what, like a matter of a couple weeks, you have how many?
Like 5. 6.
Yeah, and all from different companies. Like, it's insane that I couldn't do that with the RX-78. I could only have Bandai, and they have a good variety of different ones, and they each bring something to the table. But it would just be kind of cool to be able to be like, oh, this is the RX-78 from someone else. It's not called the RX-78, but I don't know. It just like blows my mind that no one's doing that.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know.
And again, they don't even have to make kits. They could just make a boxed figure. Like some of the Transformers, they don't even transform. They're just figures. It's like, that's fine. I'm usually on going to display it like that anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just my rants.
I don't know, man. It's a very interesting rant. Hopefully some people on Ox can put their thoughts in.
Yeah. Or maybe there are third-party ones and we just don't know about it. They do. So
right.
No. What the hell's going on?
Dean, we have to thank Watto Scrapyard again for sponsoring this show. They're such good guys. The reason why we're going to thank them, Dean, is because they not only sponsor our show, they're also sponsoring my little mini program, The Joy of Hobbying. I do that occasionally on Thursdays. I know I won't be recording for the next several Thursdays. Got some family stuff I need to take care of on Thursdays, but they offered us something fantastic, Dean.
Nice.
Now, they've been doing a lot of custom head sculpts, and they offered to do a Sculpt of the Month program on Auxiliary. So each month, they're going to, Sean, Dean, and myself will pick 3 sculpts. We'll nominate 3 sculpts, and we will let you guys vote. Whichever sculpt wins, whichever character wins, Sean will produce 1/12 and 1/6 scale resin prints that are exclusive for Ox members to purchase of that character. And you'll get an Ox exclusive price. Now, the characters that we chose this month were Lando Calrissian from Empire Strikes Back, Crispy Anakin from Revenge of the Sith, right? Revenge of the Sith, and Poe Dameron from Rise of Skywalker. And Lando is winning right now, if I remember correctly.
I told you people want Lando.
Sean works with a really talented digital sculptor, and for a lot of these sculpts, we would be able to offer more than one expression. And I can't. Don't quote me on the 1/6 scale price, but I know the 1/12 scale prices are like $15 ship for a resin printed head, which is really good.
Yeah, I got a custom sculpt from nothing. I just sent reference shots. I got a custom sculpt. I got 2 variations, 1/6 scale, printed and shipped. Insane price. I don't know if I got a deal, so I'm not going to say the price, but
yeah,
I was shocked at how cheap it ended up being.
Yeah, and it's something that Dean, you and I are going to commission sculpts of ourselves, I think.
Yeah,
To use on the table. Yeah. I think it'd be cool to put like on a Black Series Stormtrooper or something.
Yeah, well, I'll need like a Jabba the Hutt body.
Wow. You said it, not me. You said it, not me. Anyway, so we're going to be doing that. And not only that, but for the joy of hobbying, he sent me a 1/12 scale blurg.
Nice.
And you can see I've already started working on the kit a little bit. I'm going to do some pre-prep before before I put it on camera, but very easy to do kit. I printed in gold because I think he just had like a shitload of gold filament, and he was giving it to me for free. So he was like, "I'm just going to print in gold if you don't mind."
Oh, nice.
Went together very well. A little bit of cleanup I'll need to do in some of the edges of the arms where they meet the shoulder socket, and of course in the legs. But all that I don't think is going to be impossible. And we're going to paint it up, and if I really like it, I'll keep it. But if if I don't have a home for it, I think I'm going to give it away on the show. So we'll see what happens with the 1/12.
So,
what's that?
So you still owe me, so I'll take it.
Dean, I have so many things for you here at the house. I have your, if you want to play like that, I got your Razor Crest here. I got your Mandalorian blaster pistol.
Nice.
Ready for you.
Well, I won that last raffle, but you said I couldn't. So
do what?
I said I won that last raffle, but you said I couldn't. So,
Dean, we also are working on a 1/12 scale Ben Solo from Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. And my good friend Jason Nelson did some beautiful sculpting here.
Our good friend Jason Nelson.
There you go. I can make this camera myself for a second. But you can see really nice sculpting here. We use the Fleet Trooper and basically stripped off a lot of the parts. And it just came out really good. I really like it so far. We have the Ben Solo head that Watto Scrapyard produced for me. And I'm excited to get that painted and finished. But I just really like the way it's coming along so far.
Speaking of Ben Solo sculpt, I'm going to need one for my custom sculpt.
Oh my God, what are you dropping there?
I'll figure. That's fine.
Wait, you're making a Ben Solo too?
Yeah, click the next slide.
Ooh.
Bam. He's 6 scale, but
well, you'd have to take all the clothes off though. You mean a Kylo sculpt?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Solo is Kylo.
Wait, what?
I didn't know if you were kidding or not.
Wow. But yeah, so tell us about your custom here.
It's a beautiful figure. Okay, so again, like I said, I had the Force Awakens Kylo. And I really like the look of The Last Jedi / Rise of Skywalker. I could do without the red things, but whatever. Like, I guess I got the last set in the nick of time because I went to Toy Anxiety after I saw the movie, and they had the cape and tunic for $20 each. So I bought them. They got here, and I started this. So I took off the cowl and the I don't even know what you call it, like a shawl, and then the under tunic from the Force Awakens, which leaves the I want to say maybe there's an undershirt, I don't know, and then the pants, or maybe it's naked, I don't know. Anyway, it just leaves the body, and the lower half of this body is apparently people like it better than the Last Jedi version because there's like little to no articulation in the boots. pants are apparently like a really weird color, or not color, but fabric.
Mhm.
So people prefer the lower half of this body.
Mhm.
I was like, well, shit, I already got it, so I'm just gonna buy the cape and tunic. So that's what I did. I took it apart. The only thing I had to do was cut the what do you call it? This material goes around the neck.
Uh-huh.
I guess it's like a turtleneck kind of thing.
Oh, you cut the turtleneck on yours?
Yeah, I had to cut that off. Otherwise, this tunic would not fit properly over it.
Mhm.
It wouldn't go lower than the ball peg, and it looked like he had like huge like tumors on his neck.
Mhm.
And if I went back to the Force Awakens version, he wears the big shawl, so you're never gonna see that anyway.
Yeah.
So I had no problem cutting that off, and it looks fucking sick. So
I like it.
it all took, I don't know, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a suit. So if you're thinking about doing that, like, do it, because I like the idea that I could have both Kylos if I really wanted.
Yeah.
Like,
I like it.
if I wanted to take pictures, the Force Awakens, it'll just take me a couple minutes to put it on, and
Mhm.
vice versa. So
Not bad. Not bad. Look at you getting into the custom world.
yeah,
Dean,
this is so sad.
tragedy struck this
Yes.
week on Monday. And I'm just not sure how I feel about it. So let's rewind.
I mean, I hope you know
November
that.
November 12th. The worst day of recent memory. I got a phone call that no one ever wants to hear. Your best friend was just in a car accident.
Right.
Sweet Angel Dean
And Rainer.
and Rainer. After dealing with the car accident, I get home and I'm like, what the hell? The pizza we ordered before I knew Dean was in a car accident is not here yet. I let 30 minutes go by and I call Domino's Pizza. And I asked them, where's my pizza? And they told me, we delivered it an hour ago. I
You a liar.
essentially spit in my mouth.
You just have to
And
pay.
I asked them to describe my house and I asked them to describe my wife. Both descriptions were inaccurate.
Yeah.
What happened was,
And then asked you if you were sure.
yeah, they asked me if I was sure that my wife was white, and I'm like, no, my wife is black. What had happened was there is, I live on a street and my house has a street number. Let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4. One street over, there is a very similarly named street with the same house numbers. Shout out to the idiot that did that. And the pizza person delivered it to the wrong address. And instead of being a good citizen, this awful human being couple signed for our pizza and ate it and tipped poorly, which is the worst part about it. So we fast forward to Monday. I get a text that my gift from Sydney had been delivered, from Dean had been delivered. And I'm only a few minutes away from my house when I get this text. And within 5 minutes of this text, I'm at my house. Okay.
Okay.
I check the door, which is where the package was delivered. I find nothing. I check the mail hub, which is where our packages go if they're not at the door. I find nothing. Dean, my mail person is no more than 50 to 100 yards away. And I walk over and ask them where my package is. They check the truck, and the mail person says, I may have delivered it to the quote unquote 1, 2, 3, 4 address on the other street, aka the Pizza Bandits. We drive. Again, this is within seconds of me approaching the mail person. He's already finishing up that little box. He's like, "Let's go back, and I'll get your package for you." We go to the porch. No package. Again, this is about 6-7 minutes after I initially inspected my mailbox. And the mail person knocks on the door, and he asks me to wait by my car. And the pizza bandit answers the door, and the mailman returns with no package. And he says that the lady swears she did not bring the package inside. And I tell him the pizza story, and he goes back and confronts the woman again. A few minutes later, he comes back, no package, and he says she sounded really sketchy when I confronted her about the package the second time, but I'm just a mail carrier. I can't get your package back if she's saying that she doesn't have it. At this point, this is about $70 in 3 months that this woman has stolen from me. About $30, $40 in pizza, because we were anticipating you and Rain are watching The Mandalorian with us.
Right.
And this package of this amazing gift that you had given me. So I say, you know what? This is bullshit. I'm going to call the cops. Call the cops. And they say that because it's a non-emergency line, they may need to beat me at my work because it could be, 30 minutes before they can get out there. Really nice officer pulls up to my work. I chat with him, and I assume that he's just going to go get the package, but he's like, "Come on, take me to this house right now. We're gonna go and roll up on him." So I do. We go. We cop spends about 20 minutes trying to get this lady to open her door. To no avail. And he says, this is not that it's not a big deal, but it's, it's a package that's $25. Like, they're not going to bring in the SWAT team,
Right.
So he tells me to go to the post office and file a stolen mail thing. And, he gives me his police report information, his badge number to add to that report. So we go to the post office. And at the post office, they can confirm with the GPS tag from the little phone thing that the mail carriers have, where that the package was indeed scanned at that house that we suspected. So the post office has a entity called the Post Office Inspector General's Office, something like that. And I asked what that was, and the way that they described it was it's like the FBI for the post office. Like, all they deal with is stolen mail and mail fraud.
Dang.
So they're opening a case against this woman, and the postmaster himself told me that he was going to go and try to retrieve old Bumblebee. Nothing came of that I know of. And, at this point, in Texas, it is a pretty big deal to steal mail in Texas now. It's actually a felony. And when they told me, at this point, the last resort, other than filing these claims and starting these processes, was to do an insurance claim. And my heart was broken, Dean. I lit an eternal flame for my Bumblebee. And I had all my Bumblebees tribute to him.
Is the thing on right now?
Is the what?
Is that candle on right now?
It's an eternal flame, Dean. It stays lit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. It's just right there.
No, I didn't keep it in there. It would burn the figures. I moved it somewhere else.
Oh, can you go get it?
I don't want to burn my hands. It's been burning for hours. The glass is molting hot, okay?
There's a good way around that.
And Dan Lee, being the sweet angel that he was, had all his Transformers salute in honor of fallen Mervyn.
I'm not kidding. That's one of the coolest things.
Mervyn says Postmaster General investigates stolen packages and mail fraud. Yeah, I don't know. Mervyn, that's what he said. And Dan, this is such a sweet tribute to my sweet bee. And let me read you what House Bill 37 does. So mail theft is now a Class A misdemeanor, which is pretty serious, to a third-degree felony.
God.
And it is punishable by up to 1 year in jail and a fine of $4,000 to between 2 and 10 years in prison and a fine of $10,000. And it can go up to a first-degree felony if there's proof an offender intended to obtain someone's identifying information or steal from the address of a disabled or elderly person. And I really hope that this lady gets what's coming to her, because this is BS. And I saw that person outside today, and I really wanted to confront them, but it's just
It's better.
you never know with people, man. Like, you confront the wrong person, you never know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let my boys at the post office
Dude,
handle
just
this.
print that out and just go tape it to her door.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Be like, look, bitch, I know you stole my fucking mail. Give it back or you're gonna go to prison, you dumb cunt. Sorry.
Wow.
The second I said it, I'm sorry.
So my heart is just breaking, Dean.
Yeah. That's no bueno.
My boy. That was my boy. Anyways, and so we're starting World War B. We're gonna get this B back. If it's the last thing I do, we're gonna get Bumblebee back.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Nice.
Dean, let's talk briefly, because I think we're running on for
Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. Dean, you put up a very profound quote yesterday.
I did.
Maybe it was 2 days ago on Six Scale Scavengers
Oh yeah.
Facebook page. And before I get into the quote, they are doing their Figure of the Year award. So I think they close like in an hour. So if you're on Six Scale Scavengers Facebook group, go and fill out their Google form. You can nominate your 5 figures of the year, and give them some love, because they showed us a lot of love for our CW awards. But Dean, let's get back to
guys, by the way.
They're what?
Just a bunch of good guys.
Great guys. But Dean, let's get into the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
You had a profound quote, and I'd like you to share it, because I share the sentiment.
Okay, well, let me preface this with saying that whenever either Matt or Brian would live stream an unboxing or something, and they would start talking about a Rey figure or something, and they'd be like, yeah, I don't really know where to put it, just put it in a storage. Like, just get rid of it. Like, it's trash. Like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
And this movie totally brought me around. So I said, guys, a man can only admit when he was wrong. And that's what I did, and I apologize.
Yep. Dean, I'd like to also say something real quick before we get into it. And I actually prepared a statement for this.
Wow.
I state my regret.
Oh, all right, Dwight.
This movie made me...
It was Dwight, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
This movie really made me like this trilogy. Like, really made me like this trilogy. Now, TLJ is not entirely forgiven, but a lot of things in that movie make a little bit more sense with this movie being what it is. A lot of people that dislike this film say the plot is too complicated, it's too fast-paced, this doesn't make any sense. And I'd like to...
space car chase that leads nowhere.
I'd like to...
Sorry, I cannot give that movie any slack.
Wait, which one?
The Last Jedi.
Well, I'd like to address some things about this trilogy. And maybe, Dean, maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't.
I probably won't, but let's do it.
First and foremost, in Force Awakens, we kind of have the complaint that Rey is a Mary Sue, or she's overpowered beyond what, she might be able to reasonably do.
Right.
And I rewatched a lot of the original trilogy this week, judging it as I had, the sequel trilogy. And Luke kind of is a Mary Sue in that film. Like, he trains with Obi-Wan for minutes in the Force, never has flown an X-Wing, hops into this motherfucker, and one-shots the Death Star with no targeting computer using the Force. I I think like Luke's abilities, compared to like the setup of Rey, like being a really good melee fighter, being extremely good with the staff, like there's certain things in that film that make me believe that Rey can do some of the things that she does in TFA. And with Luke, I can maybe see some of those things, but also can apply some of those criticisms from that film to this one. Now, let's go to Empire.
Wait. Before you move on to Empire,
Mhm.
one, Luke's already a really good pilot. He talks
Mhm.
about flying 16, shooting womp rats, like
Yeah, but there's a difference
flying with his
between being a really good pilot and
But
a
no,
recreational.
no. Wait, hold on. He wants to join the academy. That was his whole point.
Yeah, he wants to be
He's
the
training
Imperial Academy.
a pilot.
Mhm.
So he's probably a pretty fucking good pilot. Second of all, Luke really does not use the Force in the first movie. He does the thing with the lightsaber, and then Obi-Wan talks to him. That's about it. Rey hears about the Jedi and is like, oh, they're not a myth. And then all of a sudden she knows how to do a Jedi mind trick without ever seeing it. Luke at least saw it happen. Obi-Wan did it in front of him. No one ever did anything in front of Rey, and all of a sudden she could use Jedi mind tricks. It kind of made no sense.
Yeah.
But move on.
But can you understand some of my relatings? No, none of those.
No, because Luke literally wasn't a Mary Sue. He struggled with Obi-Wan and then literally never used the Force again until he got to Yoda.
Doesn't Obi-Wan say use the Force when he one-shots the Death Star?
Yeah, but so he's like in his head and he doesn't use a tracking computer. Like, I guess that's using the Force, but he also misses before that. So again, there's struggle there. He doesn't just fucking hit it out of the park.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to Empire. And I know that with Snoke, a big complaint with The Last Jedi was, oh, well, he's dead. And like all this build up in the first movie made no sense because he's dead, And if you look at Empire critically, it's in my opinion, the best of however many Star Wars there are now. I think it's like, what, 12 now?
Something like that.
And I feel like in Empire, like there was this big setup that Vader killed Luke's father, and then conveniently it's revealed like, oh, from a certain point of view, that's still really cheesy to me to this day. And the whole thing, like in Return of the Jedi, where you find out Leia is Luke's sister, and they had already kissed twice, awkwardly. It's just, I can apply some of these criticisms.
That's the thing, like his ones.
No, she kisses him in the after he gets his arm cut off. She kisses him in the Falcon.
Right.
And then she kisses him when he's in the healing bay in Hoth.
Okay, but she kisses him like on the forehead when he's in the Falcon.
No, I'm pretty sure she kisses him on the lips.
She also kisses him on the cheek when they're escaping the Death Star.
That's different, though. I don't think
him being wounded and her kissing him is.
But it was a kiss on the lips, though. I saw the clip yesterday.
No.
And Mervin says Luke doesn't miss. He does a one trench run and nails the one shot using the Force. Yeah, Dean, I think it was the guy before him that missed.
Oh, that's right. It was.
What's his name? The red leader? Yeah, almost there. And
it didn't go in. Sorry.
So I can apply some of these criticisms. Then, of course, like Rise of Skywalker, everyone says the plot makes no sense, and I've talked about this many times. But Return of the Jedi plot is super complicated, and like their whole plan is just makes no sense.
First hour of that movie is all like happenstance.
Yeah,
there's no way you plan this.
So let's get into the talk of this film, because maybe you didn't agree with anything I just said for the last 5 minutes, but I like this movie. Like, it's not that complicated. It was pretty easy to follow.
Yeah.
The things that are silly in this movie, like the horse thing and like, oh, this Sith artifact has a map to this one thing if you hold it up. Yeah, that's silly, but
you would have to have been in
the exact hill.
You got that. Yeah.
That admittedly that's silly, but I was watching some of the commentary by Adam Driver about this movie,
Uh,
and he was saying he made a really cool point, but he was saying like in A New Hope, you see Vader as like this total confident, powerful being, like, you know, just choking the shit out of people, just running through dudes. Like he's like the top of the game. And
uh,
as the original trilogy goes, he sort of like starts to lose it a little bit. And then at the end, before he dies, you see him at his most vulnerable, like a man that, you know, is, you know, can't breathe, can barely talk, you know, he's very weak. And he said that they wanted to do the reverse with Kylo and take someone that's, you know, very conflicted and very weak in the first film and then build him up slowly until, you know, he's a very confident individual in the third one.
that's fair.
And I like that a lot, you know, when I heard that. And, you know, I certainly don't think that Disney had this planned out, you know, the way that
Yeah,
that
all my problems with this movie are because The Last Jedi is so terrible that it really put everyone else in this weird corner that they were like, fuck it, let's see if this works.
yeah, and additionally, of course, the real life circumstances with Carrie Fisher,
True.
you know, made certain scenes um, have to really fit what they had. You know,
Yeah, a lot
um,
of this movie is undoing the last movie, which it should never have had to do. But the decisions Ryan Johnson made, now you could think they're good or bad. Um, but that's not the decisions you make when you're in the second part of the third trilogy of an epic. Like, dude, why would you do this? Like, this story is already so established at this point that you
yeah,
kind of undo it for everyone else. And it's I mean, I'm not gonna go into it because I fucking hate that guy. But yeah, a lot of the things that I think are bad about this movie are because of the last movie.
well, let's talk about the positives, Dean. What was your out of 10 of
Let's
this film after?
talk negative. Out of 10?
Yeah,
Ooh, first watch. I need to watch it again.
you've only seen it once or twice.
Yeah, I've only seen it once because I don't have a car, so it's hard.
We still need to go see it together.
Yes. I would say out of 10, I'm at like an 8,
Hmm.
possibly a 9. That being said, I think this sequel trilogy was a mistake. but
Yeah. Well.
I know my sister had a huge problem with Palpatine being back,
Mhm.
but he was the bad guy even in the extended universe in the books.
Yeah, people are saying like, oh, they should have stuck to the books, and it's like in the books there was like hundreds of Palpatine clones. Like,
But to be fair, there's this thing my sister sent me is kind of brutal, but they undid a lot of character development for the original characters. And it's like, look, I don't mind that Palpatine's back, but the fact that Han Solo just ended up being like a deadbeat smuggler after all his character development and the original trilogy, and then Luke's rise to being a Jedi, and then now he's just some beach bum that wants to be left alone. Like, you've made that trilogy essentially pointless now because they've
yeah,
accomplished nothing now that this sequel trilogy is here. So it's kind of like I did enjoy it, but I think it was all a mistake. I would have much rather have some Star Wars trilogy that didn't fuck with the original.
so would you have preferred a? I guess my question for you is because I've heard a lot of your criticisms privately and then also, you know, on the podcast,
Uh-huh.
but it seems like a lot of people are upset that there is, and I think maybe you are as well, that, you know, they killed the Empire and like all the bad guys, and then, you know, 30 years later, there's just another Empire.
Right.
You know, what for you would have been, because you couldn't have a trilogy with no bad guys. You know what I mean? Like it would just be like 3 movies of like just Luke building the Jedi Order.
No,
Would you have
no.
preferred that or?
Let me say this: the Empire was fucking huge.
Yeah.
There's no way you're gonna blow up just the main guy and the whole thing just falls apart.
Hmm.
Never, it would never happen. If somebody when someone assassinated JFK, the United States didn't fall apart. No, they just, we got our shit together and pulled through. That's the same thing that would happen. So it's not like this huge deal to me that the First Order is here, because obviously there would be resources left over for people
Mhm.
to use, which is kind
Yeah.
of what happens in Battlefront too, the campaign, which is really cool to see.
Yeah.
Um, but you start off episode 7 with Leia and this like itty bitty resistance. It's like the same thing all over again. It's like this ragtag group of people. And it's like, okay, what happened to like all her supporters in the army? Now I know
Well,
the
I think I think Leia did have a good network of resistance or rebels, whatever, but they were all blown up by Starkiller Base. They struck at like the heart of the New Republic.
yeah, but again, you still never even see any of that.
I guess you would have wanted to see that explored more, like
Yeah,
how far they've come.
Luke at the peak of training Jedi, like he's been doing it for 40 years, and Kylo turns bad and kills a lot of them, and like that would have been a much better storyline than
Maybe starting the story, maybe where the middle of TLJ was, where Kylo is confronted by Luke while he's sleeping. Maybe that would have been a better starting point for you for the new sequel trilogy.
I mean, no, because that whole sequence makes zero sense, but I don't know. It's something different. Like,
But maybe around that time, like where Kylo's training like a dozen or so Jedi, and which, by the way, the rise of Kylo Ren and the rise of Snoke Age of Resistance comics are really well done.
are they? I haven't read them.
Yeah, so the Kylo comic is about um he does, and obviously spoiler alert, but he is under training by Snoke, and Snoke is like teaching him to like, use his fear and his rage, and he's taken to Dagobah, to the cave where Luke confronted the vision of Vader. And for Kylo, the thing he fears most at that time is Luke. And so he strikes Luke down in the cave. And Snoke tells him that there's one more challenge he has to face, and it's his parents. And the comic is from Snoke's perspective, and Snoke can sense that Kylo has struck them down.
Right.
And instead, Kylo has struck down like a root in that little cave. And it kind of sets the tone that Kylo is just fucking with Snoke. Like Kylo can make Snoke think whatever he wants, and it kind of like hints that he knows how to do this and that he can do it at will. And that's kind of like in TLJ where Snoke is like in his head and he's like, I know he's gonna kill you, and I can see him turning the blade, and like that is all like quote unquote foreshadowed in this comic.
Nice.
And then Kylo brings the whole cave down,
Right.
Destroying this dark side, I guess like a sacred dark side place. And he tells Snoke that no other people need to be there. And it was just a really interesting comic because one, he kind of undermined like that cultural Sith site, and then two, he was able to convince Snoke that he did this thing. And then the Rise of Kylo Ren comic is Kylo Ren just being a fucking badass and like killing this Zillo beast that Vader tried to kill when he was younger.
You sent me screenshots.
Yeah, it was awesome. But I like this movie, and honestly, like this movie made me like this trilogy a lot more.
Yeah.
I don't like The Last Jedi by any means, but in rewatching it, it's a little bit more watchable, and I still skip over Canto Bight. But
I'm not kidding. This isn't a joke to be funny. I had a dream. I was watching The Last Jedi, and I was like, "What the fuck am I doing?" And I woke up. That's how much I hate that movie. That was this morning. I was like, "What am I doing watching this? Like, why would I do this?" It was so funny, dude. I swear.
Dean, did you like the let's get off of Rise of Skywalker. I think it's a 9 out of 10 movie on 2 viewings.
I think JJ did the absolute best he could.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Mandalorian. I don't have a slide for this one. So what did you think of the last few episodes of the show of this season?
So good. I was so happy Baby Yoda's okay.
Yeah, me too. The finale was great. I thought it was really good. The Batman Mandalorian episode on the prisoner ship was really good. Bill Burr's character was really cool. Curious to see if that was Boba Fett that rescued that chick on Tatooine. I'm pretty sure it was.
I'm kind of upset we didn't get the closure.
And yeah, the last episode was really good. For me, it's kind of hard to believe that they had to call in the 501st, given the scale of that battle. There was not that many troops. The way that some of the things that made it seem like it was going to be like hundreds of troops in armor. And but it's really cool that they were able to bring in some fans to do it. IG-11 redeemed himself hella awesomely. He came back for the last two episodes. It was good to see the Mandalorian using a jetpack. We got to see him unmasked, and Sean Fear's Mandalorian head sculpt pretty much matches the character's look in the movie, because it's basically just Pedro Pascal under the mask without any crazy scars or cybernetics or anything like that. Did you like it, Dean?
I loved it, dude. I think I told you you hadn't seen it yet, and you're like, "Is it good?" And I was like, "Dude, it might be the best thing Star Wars ever."
Wow, that's high praise.
Yeah, it was so good.
Season 2 comes out in fall, so that's really exciting.
Oh, nice. I wasn't sure when that was coming out.
But yeah, I liked it. I really liked it, and I know we're not really going to touch too much longer on either of these two, but I know Dean was a part of the spoiler chat for Rise of Skywalker with the guys from OFAC. So if you want to hear more about their spoiler thoughts, check out that show. It's I think a few uploads before this one. But that's pretty much all that I have for this show, Dean. We have our Collecting Weekly Facebook group, Auxiliary, and you can find us on there if you want to join the Collecting Weekly Nation. We're on TeePublic by searching Collecting Weekly, and Instagram Collecting Weekly, YouTube Collecting Weekly. We can interact with us and see some behind the scenes stuff on Ox, and as well, you can participate in our Sculpt of the Month by Watto Scrapyard. We really would appreciate it if you guys like the show. You could share it with your friends, sub us on YouTube if you're not there already. And the big thing is rating us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. That really does help us out quite a bit. We've been stuck at the same number of views for quite a while. So definitely, if you like our show, give us a rating on Apple Podcast. Shout out time. Let's go small talk. Damien and Dylan, I think they're recording this week, if I'm not mistaken. And then Only Fools and Collecting, their new episode went up yesterday. Really cool guys. Darkside Customs in the United Kingdom. If you need your head sculpts painted, really, really good painter. Ian is.
His dark talent is insane.
Yeah, Victoria's working on Rainer's right now and Damien's, and it is a very tedious paint job to do 2 of those at the same time. So props to her. Big shout out to her. Six Hill Scavengers, Brian, Chris, and TC, wonderful guys. Hopefully, like Dean mentioned, it'd be great to do the joint podcast soon. And then Dork Dad Podcast, Lucky was my Secret Santa, really good guy.
What a guy.
And Alfred and Chris from CVC Pod, hopefully they were able to win.
Dude, Alfred is so funny, dude.
Dude, that was a fun episode.
He messaged me the other day because they were doing a contest on their podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I took their little survey and I misunderstood something. He's like, "Oh, it's actually this." I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll redo it." So that was fun.
Yeah. Well, real quick, while you're giving your shout outs, let me grab that talent to show Rainer since he's watching.
Okay. I actually didn't have any shout outs, guys, so this is awkward. Yeah, let's see that.
All right, Rainer. So with this head, with this head, there's let me see if I can do this real quick. So the Fison body, they put like this like powder on it from the factory to preserve it, and it makes the body look a little bit more pastel than it actually is. So let me grab the body here. So you can see on the stock Purgatory, the head is a little darker than the body because that powder is tinting it. So this is our color match here. I'm trying to keep both things in frame.
Nice.
And they're looking pretty good. So let Rainer show you this right here. And like I said, she's working in yours and Damien's at the same time. So it is a process. But Dean, I think you guys are going to that toy show this Sunday.
Yeah, maybe we can go Saturday. Maybe we can go see Rise of Skywalker.
Wait. I'm talking about
Cooter Brown?
yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
Go
to Ekman's.
There's another Ekman's that he didn't advertise on anything.
I don't know.
Jesus.
That's
Ekman's?
what it says. I was like, yeah, we're going to Ekman's on Saturday, and he was like, when did they start advertising? I was like, they didn't.
Again.
Actually, now that I'm saying it, I hope Rainer knows this is correct because I haven't heard about it.
I'm in the loop and I haven't heard anything. So
look, I just did another while we were doing this. I did another mod for my Kylo Ren.
Really, what'd you do? I was wondering you were working on something there.
So this is what the neck looks like. Can you
Hang on? I'm gonna make you big. Just keep talking.
Okay, so the neck is just the neck from the body. So if
did you rip off that thing I was talking about?
So if I put the head on, it looks like that.
Uh-huh.
And if I get a head sculpt, it's gonna look even weirder with a black neck. So I took what was left of the gorget, I think is what it's called.
Yes.
Like super glued it.
And you
pressure fit it on.
Look at that.
Helmet keeps it on, and now it doesn't look so weird.
Look at that. Dean, I have never been more proud of you. I have never been more proud of you. Danny Lee asked, what outfit are you going to use for the Talon?
I don't know. I've been trying to help him.
I'm not sure. There's not really a good outfit for that character. So I'm not sure what they're going to do about it. But, that's pretty much all I got for the show. Dean, do you have anything else you want to give?
To track down a cool looking outfit. No, I don't think that's all I had.
Well, it's been so good to be back, guys. I know we were a little rough on the show, but it's been like 20 days since we recorded. But it is good to be back. It's good to get back into the groove of things. I felt so lost without this show these past few weeks. The show is kind of like my rock, like I kind of plan and schedule around it. So not being able to record for a few weeks is it's both a blessing and a curse. But anyways, guys, I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
Catch you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Good show.
You don't make me small. You're
big. You're the